What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the first ever episode of Fraudulent Behavior. My name is Jake Cardinale, or as we like to call myself, Jake Fraudinale. This is Ethan Dabrowski, or as we like to call him, Ethan Defraudski. And that is Justin Alter, as we like to call him, Justin Fralter.
Or the Big Fraud.
Or that. Apparently that's what we call him now. I've never heard it before, but apparently that's a new nickname, so let's just go with it. I actually kind of like it, so... Well, our show is called Fraudulent Behavior. It's kind of exactly what it sounds like. We are going to talk about anyone who's a fraud. If you're a fraud... In sports. I mean, I don't know. You never know. But mainly in sports, if you're a fraud, you're going to be on the show. We're going to talk about frauds, teams, players, just underperformances, more frauds, and we have a schlumping segment. What does that mean? You will find out. But, so, how you guys doing today?
Very fraudulent today.
Very fraudulent, yeah. I'm feeling a little fraudulent.
I've been waiting for this for a while.
I have too.
Because I remember, we all have class together. We're sitting by Einstein's, and we're just talking. I'm like, we should do a podcast immediately. So, I'm ready to talk about people who committed fraudulent behavior. Obviously, we're not frauds. How that goes,
Justin fraudulent for eating at Einstein's.
What are you talking about? I got nowhere to go. I got.
I have Einstein's all the time too. Fraud.
Bro, Midsteins.
I like Einstein's though.
Midsteins.
Einstein's is the bagel cafe thing here in Martyr.
Yeah, we're in the podcast suite once again.
Exceptionally mid.
I mean, look, there's some things there that are mid, like a chocolate chip bagel absolutely sucks. I don't know who would eat that. But, an Asiago bagel with the onion and chive cream cheese, that goes hard.
I see.
Yeah, alright, even though I'm a fan of Einstein's, that's alright.
I'm an Einstein's enjoyer, what do you expect? I get $1 bagel, and I call it a day. We call that breakfast at like 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock, that's lunch.
Call it brunch. We call it, I'm not sure if you know that term, but in New Jersey, we call it brunch.
I say brunch too. I'm off in New Jersey. I say brunch sometimes.
Oh, what do you mean? Then you're clearly not from New York.
I am.
New Jersey is a completely fraudulent state. Tri-state.
I can definitely attest to that statement. We are definitely a fraudulent state.
I don't think New York is a fraudulent state, but New York City is a fraudulent city.
We are basically backwards California as a shape. In the way New Jersey is shaped, we are just backwards California.
Yeah.
But that's the way we like
it. Say it.
But guess what? At least our taxes are good, unlike in LA.
Ooh.
Actually crazy. All right, so what's our first segment, ladies and gentlemen? Or gentlemen, ladies? Gentlemen.
You know what are you talking about?
I don't know.
I mean, you never know in today's age. I'm just saying.
Jake, you're really you dead ass about to get us canceled on the first.
I'm just saying, guys. Just saying, everybody. Chill out.
Post.
We gotta cut that out in post. Great.
We're gonna have to cut out the whole intro and post.
Intro and post.
I said to keep it in. That's just me.
All right, fair enough. Okay, what's our first segment, gentlemen?
It is. Who is your fraud of the week? My
fraud of the week. It's got to go to Jimmy Garoppolo, the 49ers quarterback who decided to pull a Dan Orlovsky, which means he stepped into the back of the end zone, and he cost their team the game. They lost 11-10, which in reality was a bad game anyway. But Jimmy Garoppolo just stepping in the back of the end zone just made it work. I don't think he's a good quarterback. I know Niners fans do. Some of them call him Jimmy Jesus. It's not happening.
Fraud of the week this week for me is a man currently wanted in the greater Atlanta area for impersonating a football coach. Jeff Collins this week finally got fired after 3 years at Virginia Tech, in which he took the team from a perennial 500 bowl contender to never winning 2 games in a row and never winning more than 3 games in a season, completing his tenure with a record of 10 wins and 28 losses.
Ouch. 10 wins, 28. Jesus, that's like Scott Frost numbers. Even though Scott Frost is worse. Yeah, Scott Frost is more competitive. That's true. Nebraska.
Okay, my fraud of the week is actually the entire Dartmouth football team. So, all right, our circular football team, they're kind of all right this year. And Dartmouth, they're an Ivy League school, so when they go up against an NEC school, they should win. And they're up what was it, 21-3?
21-3. And last year they won 41-3.
Yeah, they beat us 41-3 last year. We're worse than we were last year. They're up 21-3 in the first quarter, and after that they lost 38-31 in overtime. I still do not know how Sarah pulled that one out of their backside. Dartmouth football team is my fraud of the week.
Dartmouth football team is the fraud of the week. Yeah, I was broadcasting that game. I was down in in the pit center bunker or whatever you call it, where the production stuff is.
That's where I get to be this weekend.
Oh, nice. What game are you doing?
Norfolk State.
Same.
Football.
I'm working that game.
Oh, you're doing football.
Oh,
you're doing football. I'm doing the volleyball game on Sunday.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
And I gotta miss out on the Jets getting shit on by Mitch Trubisky somehow.
If they lose to the Steelers, I'm gonna cry.
No, they will lose to the Steelers because I actually had them going. I actually had them beating the Bengals, but no, they didn't do that either. But apparently the Dartmouth quarterback was a linebacker in high school.
He's a big guy. I could see it.
Yeah, he's a big guy, but why are you asking him to throw the football?
Same reason. UConn, so depleted by injuries, they're about to put the 300-pound lineman at running back.
I mean, it might be hard to tackle. I don't know how fast they'll be, though.
Not the first time Jim Moore has done it, so we'll see. Will the big boy get carries on one of the worst football teams in the country? UConn this season is projected to win 3 games, which is more than they've won in several years.
That is true.
My friend goes to UConn. I gotta tell him, dude, your football team is so bad.
No, they're not a good football team. They're a team that's very good in basketball. They can make an income off just their basketball team alone, I guess, because it was mostly just Kemba Walker and friends. But outside of that,
top 5 recruiting class now, which is more than they ever got when they were stuck in the American.
Yeah,
that is true. So Dartmouth took an L today. L this week. You know what else took an L this week?
Hell.
Let's start with our first topic. Daniel Jones, 0-9 in the 0-9 against the Dallas Cowboys. 0-9 in primetime games. Who watched the game?
I did.
Did you watch the game, Ethan?
No. Why would I voluntarily subject myself to watching?
That is fraudulent behavior. I'm changing my fraud of the week. It's Ethan now.
I would rather watch paint dry than watch the New York Football Giants play against the Cowboys on ESPN Monday Night Football.
The primetime games this week were really bad.
Primetime games this year in general are just really, really bad.
They have them. We had Thursday Night Football. Bills blew the Rams out of the water. Then we had... What else we have? I mean...
Watching a Thursday night game behind Amazon is fraudulent behavior by the National Football League. That's all I can say.
I mean, Steelers and Browns I didn't think was all that riveting.
The Steelers-Browns, if anybody saw that game and watched Al Michaels cast that, it had to be the most painful thing ever. He has officially reached a point to where he's seen everything that he's officially bored of everything.
Yeah, I think he was just like, oh yeah, another missed pass by Mr. Trubisky. What else is new?
Yeah, it's another pass from Mitch Trubisky. George Pickens catches a one-handed catch. Oh, where did I see that? Odell did that like 40 years ago. Another player did that 40 years ago. I mean, he saw the miracle on ice. I think he's seen everything at this point.
Yeah.
He's watched the ultimate upsets. What is our stance on Daniel Jones now? They're now officially 2-1. They are no longer undefeated, as I expected. Who wants to start? Who wants to start about Daniel Jones?
I mean, what do you expect when you draft a quarterback out of Duke University? With all due respect.
That Coach K difference, though.
He hasn't coached a football team. He hasn't coached a football team.
He probably coaches both, knowing
like,
Duke.
I understand how making Duke a 6-6 team might make you a top NFL prospect, but at the same time, it's Duke University football. They're not going to win anything. They're not going to win the Bahamas Bowl. I don't understand what you're doing betting your franchise quarterback to be a guy who was slightly above average at a historically terrible program in a down conference. The ACC during Jones's run was bad. That's not an understatement or an overstatement. That's just Clemson was running through everyone, calling 3 plays at a time. And Daniel Jones just ended up being in the right place at the right time, where Miami completely fell off after being at one point number 2 in the country, completely fell off the face of the earth, and they still have not found their way back. They lost to Middle Tennessee this week. And so Jones has always had that bust projection on him, and I don't think it's been helped by the fact that he's struggled in primetime games with the most viewers. So when people see Daniel Jones on their televisions, they're used to him losing. Because on national TV, he doesn't win. He doesn't win in general.
That's true. He does not. Jake, what's your stance on Danny Dimes? DJ Jonas.
I don't think he has a starting job next year anywhere. The guy is not good. He has the arm. He has a little bit of some arm talent, but he can't push the ball down the field consistently, at least not accurately. He's very erratic with the football. He's a turnover machine. He probably makes turnovers. In his mom's basement in the kitchen every night. The dude is not good at football. I'm sorry, but this dude just cannot play. Yes, he can make plays with his leg, but whenever he breaks up a big run, he falls flat on his face, for crying out loud. The dude just cannot play. He can't make 3 passes in a row. He's just straight garbage. 0-9 in primetime. Kirk Cousins, watch out. Move over. You got some competition, my guy.
Some competition. Watch what's going to happen is it's going to be, I guarantee you, one of these years, it's going to end up being Vikings-Giants primetime game. Who officially becomes, who wins their first ever primetime game?
Well, Kirk Cousins is 2-10.
Oh, that's right. Well, who bolsters up their
record? The stoppable force meets the movable object.
He's not good, Daniel Jones. He is not good. I mean, this draft pick when it happened, it was blasted. Even Giants fans didn't like it. Like Max Kellerman, when he was still on First Take, he criticized the pick. There was a teacher my sports marketing teacher, when I was a sophomore. This draft was when I think I was a junior at the time. I asked him what do you think about the draft pick. He literally goes, I don't want to talk about it. Even Giants fans didn't like the pick, and you see why. The dude is not really showing me that much. His rookie year, okay, he threw for 20 touchdowns, but he also turned the ball over 23 times. And since then, he has been straight garbage. He's been basically Sam Darnold, but maybe a smidge better than his rookie year. That's not good, dude. The dude is not good at football. I could see Tyrod Taylor getting some playing time this year for the Giants, or whoever their backup is.
Tyrod Taylor.
I think he's already hurt, honestly. But
probably is hurt already.
Whoever their backup is, I think he might see the field. Next year, Jones is gone.
Oh, yeah, because if they have a bad record this year, I've said this before, Brian Daboll is now your coach. Joe Schoen is now the GM. At what point do you start to point the finger at Daniel Jones? Yeah. Because I think Daniel Jones kind of got a free pass every year because they said, oh, he played bad, but he also had Joe Judge on his team as his head coach. But now he has a good coach, a well-respected offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills, and Daniel Jones just had to beat the Cowboys that don't even have their starting quarterback, and he gets dropped off by Cooper Rush.
Yeah. You see, Jones is not the only problem in the Giants organization, but he is a problem. And I think that the Giants have to reconsider their whole approach because this rebuild has been a failure.
Oh, yeah, it has been.
Complete failure.
I'm going to jump off that thing you said, Ethan, where Daniel Jones isn't the sole problem. Another big guy, Kenny Golladay. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a receiver this year do that bad as Kenny Golladay making $72 million. He is literally robbing that team. Poor John Mara is losing all his money off a guy who's gonna have like 3 drop. What was it, like 7 drops?
He has 0 catches, 7 drops this year.
He has 0 catches, 0 touchdowns, 7 drops. To give you guys context, I saw a stat. There is a player who has had more touchdowns than Kenny Golladay over the past 2 years, and that's Henry Ruggs with 2. And Henry Ruggs only played 2 games because
he's facing 46 years in prison.
Yeah, exactly. He's facing 46 years in prison. He's about to join the mean machine and have more touchdowns than Kenny Golladay. So it is a bad look for the Giants right now. I don't care if they're 2-1 because here's the thing: you beat an overrated Titans team to where it's Derrick Henry and friends, and then you beat Baker Mayfield, which is also not impressive to me at all. And then finally, when you get a little bit of competition on the defense, you throw a pick in primetime to end the game.
You see, I don't know if the problem in Carolina is Baker as much as it is Matt Rule.
He's garbage.
Matt Rule's also really bad.
Very clearly, either phoning it in to get that best job in America, fired football coach, or he's just not a good X's and O's guy, and he's just waiting for the call from a desperate college team to go back there and try and turn the program around like he did at Baylor. But he is just not successful at the NFL level. And that's not something, we've seen this before. We've seen some of the greatest college coaches of all time struggle in the NFL level. But Matt Rule was never a great college football coach. He's not in that top tier. He made Baylor a top 15 program after the Bryles scandal, but now he's in the NFL and he's, quite frankly, underperforming with a team who was already struggled to be bad. He's made them worse.
Yeah, because on paper, the Carolina Panthers should not be this bad. Because here's the thing. Is Baker Mayfield bad? Yes. Is he the worst quarterback in the league? Not even close. You can easily do something. I mean, you have Robbie Anderson, right? DJ Moore still on that team, and you have Christian McCaffrey. That is a very, very good receiver lineup. And then, you have Sam Darnold, who's a great quarterback as well. Let's not mention the Will Grier.
The Darnold.
Willie G.
This is the thing with Rule. So, not only did he turn around Baylor, he also was at Temple before Baylor, and he did a good job there as well. So, he basically turned around 2 programs. So, I think NFL teams saw that. Remember, before the Jets hired Adam Gase, trying not to remember that whole tenure, but they actually interviewed Rule and they offered him a job, but he had some staffing issues, so he said no. Same reason why Mike McCarthy turned down the Jets job that year. They ended up going to Adam Gase, and then I guess teams saw he turned around not 1 but 2 programs, and for some reason that they jumped at him. I just didn't think they realized he's
There's no recruiting in the NFL.
Yeah, like you said,
Rule's greatest strength is his ability to recruit anywhere.
Yeah. And you can't do that in the NFL.
You can't do that in the NFL, and it's not even, he can't even make trades. God forbid you have another Bill O'Brien situation where the coach is the GM. So the Carolina Panthers, from the top down, are a very fraudulent team.
I was about to ask, is Matt Rule a fraud?
I think he is.
Is Matt Rule on fraud
NFL
watch,
level,
or is he just a dead set fraud?
At the NFL level, he is a fraud. At the college level, he is good enough to avoid being on fraud watch, but bad enough to... he's bad enough that he won't ever escape fraud watch, but he's good enough to not be labeled an actual fraud.
All right. Well, we will explain... Jake will explain what a fraud watch is later in the show in our segment at the end. But here's the thing. I know you brought up Urban Meyer, Jake, and I know one big thing about Urban Meyer is that he had a major scandal with his wife. So let's talk about Ime Udoka. Let's jump onto that train. God. Here we go. So Ime Udoka recently has been suspended for 82 games after having an intimate consensual affair with a female staff member. His fiance was Nia Long. He had a son with her. So they've been, I think, engaged for about 7 years. So Ethan, let's start with you because you're close to Boston in Connecticut. What's your stance on the penalty here? What's your stance on the suspension? Between
losing in the finals and losing Nia Long, that is 100% fraudulent behavior. Fraud of
He said the title.
Not just fraud of the week, that is fraud of the year, and that year-long suspension is absolutely fitting. Honestly, should be put away for life behind bars. He's fumbling Nia Long.
Yeah.
But the Celtics organization is in a bit of disarray. Udoka commanded the respect of the players in a way Brad Stevens didn't, and it showed when they actually reached the finals. There's not been a lot of roster turnover on the Celtics. Their new coach is younger than Al Horford, the interim. He was also arrested when he was a minor, but that was 17 years ago, so...
Oh.
Why was he arrested?
I believe domestic battery.
Damn.
Wait, why would... What? How old do you mean by minor? Was he like 4? Was he just like... No, was 17. He being... Oh, he's 17. Okay, yeah, technically that's a minor, yeah. Technically, in the legal standpoint, that's a minor. When I think of minors, I'm thinking like 1 to... I'm thinking like 4 to 12, and I'm thinking like, was this 4-year-old beating the shit out of somebody? 4? I was getting their shit rocked by a 4-year-old.
So the Celtics currently have a coach who's younger than several members of the roster. They also have players who are going to be missing time to start the season. Robert Williams got injured. They made him play through the finals, which is not the first time an injured Celtics player has been forced to play through the playoffs, whether he wanted to or didn't want to. We saw the same thing happen to Isaiah Thomas, and he fell off almost immediately because of his injuries. So it's going to be interesting because he's a core centerpiece of that team. Will he be the same, or will rushing back from injuries to play in the finals and then in the regular season set him back temporarily or even permanently? He's much larger than Isaiah Thomas, which is not a hard award. I'm 8 inches taller than Isaiah Thomas. I'm not an NBA caliber athlete, though. I will not be putting up 50 points in the Chinese league. But I do think that the whole Celtics organization is going to have some struggles at the start of the season. It's going to take time for this team to adjust to having a new coach and a new system in play. And it's going to be very interesting to see come playoff time whether or not the Celtics have adjusted or whether they're going to be a middle-of-the-pack team. They're talented enough to make the playoffs and avoid the play-in. I mean, if you can't make the play-in, you don't deserve to be an NBA franchise. I mean, it's 20 out of 30 teams. There's a 66% chance you're going to make at least the 10 seed.